So I've always worked very, very well with technology folks. I ended up taking a job at Countrywide, which at the time was doing very, very well. I worked in their technology division, and that started a very long career of mine, actually in technology finance. We did end up getting acquired by Bank of America. I made the transition, and I stayed with Bank of America for quite a long time, and bouncing locations from everywhere from Simi Valley to Agora Hills to Thousand Oaks. I think I was with Bank of America for about 20 years. If you count the Countrywide years as well. So we were renting this house from a lovely couple for a lot of years at a very reasonable rent. And we're very thankful and grateful to them to this day, because they allowed us to raise our family the way that we really, really wanted to, because we homeschooled both our children from the beginning all the way into them going into Moorpark College. Unfortunately, a situation occurred that their daughter was going to be coming in, and we would have to move out of the house. And when I looked at the corresponding prices in terms of rent, and this is, I think, circa 2021 or so, the prices it was literally 2 to 3 times the rent that we were paying before, and that just became way too much for me to be able to justify. And that's when we actively started to take a look at, okay, we need to go someplace else. We literally got to a place where we said, okay, what are we doing? Because if we're not actually making progress towards buying a home or being able to make a life in Clover, what in fact are we doing? In April of 2022, what we decided to do is we took a vacation. It's not really a vacation, because technically it was an actual recon mission. I went through the process, talked to management, talked to my management, and told them the situation that was going on as far as my living, and everyone was amenable to it. So they ended up going ahead, did it, and we got all the paperwork done, and we moved out here in August of 2022, and my lovely wife did most of the research to find the place that we're in right now, which was fantastic, and it was just kind of a big, huge leap of faith. In August 22, we moved to Cedar Park, Texas from Moorpark. Key thing for us moving over here, immediately we felt the impact of, and most people will tell you, okay, hey, you leave California, you don't have to pay state taxes anymore. Texas doesn't have those. And you actually did feel that immediately. We felt the price of gas immediately. We felt the prices of heating and electricity immediately. And it was just this combination of a lot of stuff saying, wow, it's a lot easier to live, even though a lot of the people here are saying prices are increasing, and I can see that. It's just not at the same rate that I was seeing them in California, because if I go all the way back to the beginning of my story when I was in California, houses were about $200,000. I go to the end of my story when I left California, and if you can get a 1,200 square foot house under $800,000, you're doing great. So it's just hard. It was hard for us to be able to make that leap over to my income could not catch up to it. I made a good amount of money, but when a good amount of money, and I'm talking in 6 figures, doesn't feel like anything at all, and you just feel like you're and you just have to try to keep digging, and you're digging and you're digging, and you're like, okay, you can't hope for the lottery. And when we moved to Texas, actually it was very funny, because when I told my boss what we decided on, because he knew we were kind of bouncing around between New England or whether we were going to go to Texas. I said we decided on Texas, and his first response was, "Oh, that's like getting a $10,000 raise right there, boom." It was funny, because then I, of course, went into being in finance. It's okay, let me pull up my job. It's okay, take this, multiply. Oh wow, that's actually right. My daughter's opportunity as she came here, I thought it was actually really, really interesting, because I don't see how she could have done what she's did in California as what she's done here. When we first got here, one of the things, and when we were coming over, my daughter was saying, one of these places that I want to work, I want to work at Dutch Bros. I just want to work there. It just seems like a fun place. So we stopped at one in New Mexico. I was like, oh, it's kind of nice. Okay, whatever. And so we show up over here, and within a week, we hear that they're breaking ground on a new Dutch Bros in Cedar Park. We're like, okay, you're talking about these things lining up, right? So my daughter obviously applies. And one thing about my daughter is she's very competitive. She has a huge work ethic, which I'm super proud of. So what she does is she jumps in there and gets a job. So she's a barista or broista, however they call it. So she works there. My daughter, thank God is the one who's really good with money of my kids. So I'm very proud of that. So she saves up her money, and she saves it up, buys a car, all on her own. We were just there for support. We didn't even co-sign on the loan. Nothing. It's all her stuff. The assistant manager that was there ended up taking a manager's job in Utah. That's what I'm talking about. It goes all over the place. So they move over there. My daughter is like, okay, one of the things that I want to do is, she said, you know what? I think I'm going to go and interview for this because I think it would be good practice for me. I don't think I'm going to get it, but I think it would be good. And I was like, I think that's an excellent idea. She ends up getting the assistant manager role, and it's a place where she can actually, pay for her car, pay for rent, save money still, and be able to pay her expenses. As far as what she's been able to do and move out and live on her own, if she was in California, I'm not sure she would be able to do that. It just seems to be easier to be able to live, and getting by is easier. So if getting by is easier, it's a heck of a lot easier to start thriving.